Banners bearing the face of Iraq's revered Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani have proven popular in the latest wave of protests raging on inside of Iraq. While clergymen are largely viewed as guardians of the nation, there appears to be more to their perceived popularity than meets the eye. Recent footage obtained by FRB reveals some lesser-known details about Sistani's ability to sway political and religious sentiment inside the country. In this video, first published on YouTube 3 days ago, a man carrying a placard bearing a portrait of the Shi'i figure at a protest in Baghdad's Tahrir Square is quizzed by two other men. The men whose voices can be heard but whose faces cannot be seen learn that the man is being paid 25,000 Iraqi dinars to carry a banner adorned by the images of Ali al-Sistani and words of praise for him. The men appear to be very angered by his presence and describe what he is doing as morally indefensible. This video reveals yet another twist to the latest phase of demonstrations Iraq has witnessed over the last 2 months. While for many Sistani remains Iraq's highest spiritual authority, his attempt to steer political protests may also suggest a crisis of popularity and fears over his position in Iraq's political system. One Twitter user today wrote that Iraq's religious authorities had threatened to repress anyone who dares to speak out against them. The race for power, it seems, is not only pursued by Iraq's political elite, but clergymen also, equally as invested and involved in shaping the future political landscape. Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi on Tuesday vowed to scrap yet another layer of government as part of his reform package, which was ratified by Parliament last week. The announcement was published on the incumbent leader's official Facebook page, in which he stated, based on the reforms which have been presented to and approved by the Council of Ministers and House of Representatives, a decision has been reached to reduce the positions of advisors to ministries. Hours after his first post, Abadi defended his decision with another, reassuring those concerned that the measures were not directed against any particular bloc or person, but designed to eliminate the perks state officials currently enjoy and to stamp out corruption. In the lead-up to these reforms, the weekend saw Abadi terminate a total of 11 cabinet positions as part of his drive towards reform, to combat corruption and to better public services as promised. Yet calls voiced by protesters for one of Iraq's most senior court judges, Midhat Mahmoud, to step down was rejected yesterday by Iraq's Supreme Judicial Council. Power, it seems, remains widely diffuse, despite the Prime Minister taking the lead on these latest reforms. What remains unclear, however, is the exact number of people that will be affected by the latest proposal. Many believe that this whirlwind of reforms, which has taken many by surprise, is steadily transforming the political playing field in Iraq. Others believe these changes will only guarantee that the political arena is reserved for the members of Iraq's Dawah party. Iraq has once again found itself under the international spotlight, for all the wrong reasons. 1 month of independent experts from the United Nations reviewing Iraq's human rights record, and the evidence discovered verifies complaints of torture Iraqi civil society has been warning of for the last 10 years. The panel found torture to be widely practiced in secret locations, away from the eyes of the public. UN experts cited former military airport Al-Muthanna to the west of Baghdad as one of several secret centres under the command of the Iraqi army. In July alone, Iraqi President Fuad Ma'soum signed off hundreds of death penalty sentences due to mounting pressure, as some allege. While government officials have consistently denied allegations of systematic torture or admitted it does take place but conducted by non-official forces, the evidence unearthed by the UN watchdog counteracts the excuses the Iraqi state has so far presented. Detainee abuse and mistreatment in Iraq, as evidence shows, remains commonplace even after Saddam's removal from power. Detainees are never innocent before proven guilty, but guilty before having stood a fair trial. These hands belong to Uday Hadi Suleiman, whose palms were left black and blue and disfigured, as shown in this photograph, after he was arrested by Anbar police, who confused him for another man. Burns like these are frequently reported by detainees, who are also subjected to other techniques, including lashes, severe beatings, cigarette burns, and electric shocks. The existence of secret detention facilities is in fact a violation of the UN Convention Against Torture, which Iraq is a signatory of. The UN has called on Prime Minister Abadi to close down these facilities to rescue a political system they described as having gone astray.